Hello, everybody. It is so good to be with you again. Today is January 9th, 2022. So I'm kind of excited. A new year. We're putting out some good vibes for a brand new year. And how is everyone? Whoops. Let me take out. I forgot I was listening to an audiobook and I left the speaker on. I don't want it to interfere with what's going on here. So, hello, can everyone hear me? I'm hoping so. So, hi, Sonia is here and Marcia's here. Two of my very favorite people on this whole site. So, I'm hoping. Oh, here people come. You can hear me. Yay. Very good. Well, I've had this quilt up here for a couple of weeks and have forgotten to show it to you. This was one of the very first classes I took at the Myrtle Beach quilt party that I'm hoping we're going to in about a week and a half. I'm kind of waiting and watching, don't know what to do about the whole COVID thing. But I'm crossing my fingers. So this was given by a class, and I can't remember the woman's name now, but I adore this quilt. It was the Kaleidoscope Centers, and I just love it. Hi, Kathy Klein. So good to see you, hon. So I bought a very colorful feathered fabric, and we learned to pick one motif and to cut sections from that exact motif. So we stacked layers of that exact thing and pinned them carefully so they wouldn't move, and then cut our triangle shapes out of it. And that way, when you put them together, you get an amazing, a lot of COVID there. Oh, see, that's what worries me. And when I went to my retreat in November, you had to show your vaccination card before you came in. Well, I don't think they're requiring a vaccination card for this one, and that makes me very nervous. I have worked so hard to avoid getting COVID, and it sure would be a shame to have to pay for the privilege of having COVID. I mean, I'm paying to go to this thing, and I wish they would check for vaccinations. Yeah, so that's what I'm thinking, Sonia. That's what I'm thinking. So I told Mark I've really been wanting a break, that maybe I'll just go and stay in the hotel room by myself and just enjoy a vacation, take all my sewing stuff and just sew on my own in my room and just not go to the group activities. So there's Debbie. So good to see you. Judy Smith, hello. Oh, do you like that? I'm trying to remember the woman's name, but it was, oh gosh, it was back in 2012 at least, yeah. So, 10 years ago. And, but anyway, she was a lot of fun. And this was my very first class, and I absolutely loved it. One thing, though, if I could do differently, I used bits of the fabric, leftover pieces, to do the accent border around. I would have taken the black out because I have a strong eye for symmetry, and that bothers me. But I really do love this. I don't know if anyone notices. Kiwi, would you step up? But Kiwi is down with us again. Can you say hi? You uppy downy, good girl. She was eating her blackberry, so I'm going to let her go back. I know you're a good girl. She loves her blackberries. So, okay, I'm going to turn this around because I've got something to show you. Whoops, not the Christmas trees falling. That's not what I planned to show you. But, okay, I've been working this week on my mystery quilt. And here it is. And oh, you like, it's actually kiwi, like the fruit, because she's pretty green. Do you want to step up? Step up? She used to be on the show a lot. And then, I know. Then for a while, I just got out of it. But she's a cutie and smart as, you want to get it? Oh, okay. She loves to get on my shoulder. I know. You're going to talk to me. Want to dance? 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 Huh? Uppy downy? Good girl. So anyway, all right. I did stream on Thursday. Oh, Debbie, you probably came in when I couldn't. You know what I did wrong? I found that I forgot to plug in. I have this special capture box that allows me to take what's on my computer and send it online. And I forgot to do that. Oh, you want to get back to your BlackBerry? Let me put her back here. Ready? Step up. Good girl. Okay, eat that BlackBerry. So anyway, oh, yep, she goes right back to her BlackBerry. She loves it. But what I found is, let me try to straighten this just a little bit. But I found I hadn't plugged the capture box in. So it was my fault after all. But this time Mark said, I'll get you online. It was like, okay, would you? So anyway, it has been a busy, busy week. On Wednesday, I drove a couple hours to meet my daughter and her husband. They were coming down 95 from the eastern shore of Maryland, and they were headed to Parris Island, South Carolina, to pick up their son from Marine boot camp. And oh my gosh, I could spend the whole show talking about this young man. He graduated the very top person in his platoon. He also graduated, one of only two who graduated as private first class, not just private. And then he was chosen out of, I think, 2 people out of like 7 platoons were chosen for the Presidential Guard. So very, very proud and excited. And you know, the best thing, hi, Miss Jody. The very best thing is he's such a nice young man. I love that boy to bits. So they were traveling down to pick him up. They've got 10 days with him before he has to report back. And hopefully he'll be nearby taking a class. But, and if he's on the Presidential Guard, hopefully he'll be stationed up there near them some way. Yeah, it was. And just so proud of him. Just so proud. It's something he's wanted to do for years, and he wants to go into medicine or be a medic, something like that. And he's prepared himself. But I tell you what, it was grueling. And I'm just so proud of him. So I've got a couple pictures. I forgot to download them, so hopefully they're on the computer, and I'll be able to show you, because to me, that's so important. But anyway, oh, and since Jody is here, Jody, I did something in honor of you, darling. Jody did the most beautiful quilt that was Van Gogh's Starry Night. So when I was looking for Christmas gifts for myself, they had these little rings, and I wish it would focus. I don't think it will. But they are supposed to be Van Gogh's Starry Night. Here is the other one, just little inexpensive rings. But I said, I want those in honor of our Jody. So, because I love her Starry Night. Betty Middleton just came in. Yay, Betty. I've got something to show you where I've started painting. So I'll be showing you that. Oh, thank you, Jody. It's just, she's so talented. And it's so interesting. Every time I start up my computer, her Frankie, the Frankenstein photo, it comes up on when my programs come up, it's like the main placeholder for my photos. So every time I turn my computer on, it comes up. So I think of Jody a lot. But it is so good to see you. And, so I drove Wednesday, about 150 miles, met him on I-95 in Benson, North Carolina. And we exchanged. They gave me the dogs, two big dogs. We have 3 little ones, so I had 2 big dogs in the house, and it was so good to see them. I double masked, and because my son-in-law has had COVID, I mean, it's just kind of gone through the whole family. And then I drove back, and we had them for a couple days, and then I took them Friday night about 8:39. I left here to go take them to my daughters because they were coming back from Paris Island to stay in Lexington, North Carolina with my daughter, and then go all the way back to the Eastern Shore. And oh my gosh, from the time I met them for the dogs till they got to Paris Island was like 4 or 5 hours. And then they had another 6, and traffic was so smooth. But anyway, we had the best time. Oh, wonderful. Well, I can't wait to show you. So my little dogs were just like, we got to protect ourselves from these great big dogs. So little Maisie, all 7 pounds, 8 pounds of her, was constantly, kind of snarling at one of them, the puppy, he's sweet as he can be, but he's a little bit clumsy. So she was snarling at him, and she had such fun. I told my daughter, I think she sprained her lip. She snarled so much. But then Gromit, oh man, did he play with him. He had such a good time. Oh, let me show you something too. My daughter made this for me. And is this the cutest thing? I love this little fella. And this is wool from her sheets. And then it's like a beanbag weighted thing. And I love the fabric that looks like sweater material. How cute. And there's his little nose. So thank you, Katie, for my gnome. He is so cute. So I love stuff like this. I would rather have this than jewelry or anything because I just love snuggly things and things that are homemade. Can't beat that. All right. I didn't make any more crafts this week, I don't think. But I did do one thing good. I totally finished doing the zigzagging of one of the 4 swirly tree quilts I made. I used invisible thread from Superior, and I zigzagged it, and I used the, thank you for whoever suggested using the sewing machine needles that are made for sewing on fusibles, and it wasn't perfect, but it made a big difference. It kept me from breaking my thread so often. And I still would have to kind of clean off the needle once in a while, but not nearly as much. So I was very happy with that. And then I quilted my swirly tree quilt. And then I noticed I had used a pretty green on the back of it. It was the green swirly tree one. So I just wrapped the back around and did a modified binding. Did it by machine. Had that puppy done in 3 hours. I was so proud. So, and that was from zigzagging through the quilting. So I was really tickled. So now I know what to do for the others. And what I ended up, just so you'll know, is I did, for quilting, I did outline quilting of the tree. I made sure to quilt up and around each shape to bring that out. And I outline quilted it all the way to the edge and the bottom. Up top where it gets narrower, I went ahead and did like little swirly designs to look like wind and snow. But I still had about the same 2 inches of outline quilting around the entire tree. So it worked out. All right, now let me So now I want to talk to you about this Merry Mayhem quilt. And okay, so here is the Merry Mayhem Mystery Quilt. I had put on the yellow accent border last week. Then I put a second accent border of the green sunflowers. And then I said, okay, now what to do with the outer border. She had us cut border pieces 8.5 inches wide. And Mark and I both looked at it and said, that's just a little too wide for what I want. And because it is the background color. So I was like, So what I ended up doing is cutting them down to 6 inches, which left me 2.5-inch strips. So I made myself a little baby jelly roll. And that way, if I need pieces of cream, 2.5 inches, I'm set. So I purposely chose that 2.5 inches so I'd have a usable strip, because 2.5 inches comes in handy for just about everything. In fact, it would come in beautifully handy for these strips inside the quilt. So it's a common good measurement, and I taped them up so I can keep them together and know where they are. Then I decided, okay, I've got all that background cream. What am I going to do with that? That's a lot of quilting. Oh, thank you. Laura's here. Oh, Edwinice is here. Oh, it's so good to see all of you. And Judy Smith, are you a member of our group? If you're not, hon, shoot me an email, OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com, and I'll send you an invitation, hon. This current project right here is what I did New Year's Day. I did a Merry Mayhem Mystery. I don't know if it's still free on her site, Merry, M-E-R-R-Y, that version of Merry, MerryMayhem.com. So if, and I was going to, oh, there's doves up in the tree. There's a whole bunch of doves up in this tree. And it was like right outside my window, there's, five doves outside my tree, on my tree. So, but at first it was like, that's odd. What's wrong with that tree? See, squirrel. I'm so easily distracted. But we have a groups IO. And so, it would look beautiful in batiks. And there are 4 or 5 different ways that you could design it. I did it this way because I did a laptop, but they had some really complex. One of them that gave me eye pain. It was so like optic and too much for a Deb. But anyway, so what I decided to do, once I cut the borders narrower, I decided I wanted to do prairie points. And I think I've only done prairie points maybe one time if I'm lucky. But I thought with all of the points in the quilt blocks, Becky, hi, sweetheart. You must be reading my mind. I have been trying to write. I keep telling myself, write her an email, connect with Becky. Hi, sweetheart. I didn't realize Becky wasn't going to be attending the retreat, or I would have just hugged her up and not let her leave. So, but I will be emailing you, Becky, because I miss you. And very, very much, sweetheart. And and then I wanted to tell you one other thing too. So I will email you. And Vicki Robles is here. So, okay. So here I've done, and I've got, as always, there's a story to everything I do. I was thinking about making these prairie points, and it bothered me to waste so much fabric. Also, with putting it right up against the quilt on the border instead of having it on the outside of the border, I thought, that's a lot of fabric coming to one particular point. Because normally when you make let me see if I can find, okay. If you're not familiar with Prairie Point, I think sometimes people call them shark's teeth, but if you're not familiar, what you normally do is you cut a square of fabric. This is a 6-inch square. Let me make sure. This one might be the one that I cut different size squares of paper because I want, this is the 6-inch square. And I cut different, this is a good tip. I cut squares from 4.5 inches to 6 inches, and then I folded them so that I could see what size I wanted, and then laid them on the border. But it bothered me because, as you can see, by the time you fold it to the final Prairie Point, that's 4 layers of fabric. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a lot of fabric, and it's bulky. So, and you know I hate wasting fabric. I mean, I'm cheap as they come. I got to be honest. So this is what I did. I decided to use this half. I folded the 6-inch square in half, and I decided to use this as my template. So I measured here from here to here, and it was 4.5 inches. So I cut 4.5-inch strips, and then I marked it on a ruler. Let me see if I still have my ruler handy. Hopefully I didn't put it away. Well, here it is. So I took a ruler, I put a piece of tape at the exact dimension of the finished piece, and I was able then to go and cut uniform, and I would turn it one way or another to save fabric, and I wasted very little fabric. Now, the problem with only doing it 1 layer thick is you would have a raw edge here. So what I did is then I took some steam-a-seam type material. Here I've got a box of Pellon version. Let me show you. I've got this Pellon version of light easy steam, and I see this is the width, and I trimmed it down. This is about 3/8. No, it says 1/2 inch. I cut it in half lengthwise. Okay, then I put it inside I'll put it on the very edge, then flip the edge down. That way I have a finished edge and a much less bulky Prairie Point, and I saved the fabric. So, okay. So anyway, then what I did is I counted up, I measured how I was going to line them up to see how many Prairie Points I would need, and I realized I needed 66 or 67. I made 67. So I did them of each of the colors, and here are the ones still left to be put on the border. And what I'm doing is I'm sewing them on the border. And let me show you real quick just so you'll know. But I thought, how do you put them on, and how can I do it easily? So this is the long side border. And I'll bring you down 1 second here. Okay. So what I did is I take them and I line them up. Come in whoops. It's not down far enough. Okay. I come in 1/4 inch from the edge because that's going to be in a seam. And then I take, and I always line 2 up at a time. And I eyeball it because I feel like nobody's going to come along with the tape measure. But I eyeball it and then start lining up. And really, honestly, I'll sew and add them as I sew. But do you see what I'm doing here? So you open that one side, You tuck it in the same amount each time so that it comes up just over an inch and a quarter, well, just barely over an inch. But you can eyeball them easy enough. Then I sew them on this. Then I sew, once all of these are sewn down on the border, I put the border against the quilt and I sew it on. There's one thing that I really want you to remember, though, when you sew any of your borders on, and that is measure your quilt like horizontally in the middle, then vertically in the middle. Okay? You don't do what is tempting to do, which is just take fabric. Ooh, I'm going to sneeze. Pardon me. Don't just take fabric, put it up against the quilt top and start sewing it on. If you do, you'll end up with very friendly borders. And what I mean by very friendly borders is they'll wave. They will end up waving and buckling. And so measure the center vertically of your quilt top and horizontally. Those are the measurements you cut your borders. Then you take and mark the middle of your border and mark the middle of your quilt top, and you make the quilt fit into the border. You will be much happier with the results. Now, let's say you end up with too much of either the border or the quilt top when you're sewing them in. Then lift up your pieces as they're coming. Like here's the needle. Lift up. Make your excess where it's too much fabric. Put it on the bottom. Lift it up like this as you're sewing it under your needle. And let the feed dogs ease it in for you. Okay? Pretty simple, pretty simple. Oh, who's having headaches? Oh, I'm so sorry. All right, so now I've told you about prairie points. I'm going to have them all the way around the quilt. And then, since I still have a pretty good amount of border here, I will do something soft and pretty, and it gives me a lot of space to do my machine quilting. One thing I tend to do when I machine quilt is if the quilt is geometric, sharp angles, I'll do something soft. And probably my go-to will be beautiful feathers, meandering feathers around the border. But anyway, so that is, and I told you, didn't I? I said, if you try this mystery quilt, if you find a great mystery quilt designer like Merry May, or she goes by Merry Mayhem, and you will be happy with your quilt. I'm very happy with this. And this will become one of my favorite quilts to put up seasonally in the living room. Kiwi's getting big. Kiwi, can you say hi? Oh, she wants to come see us. Now, hopefully, since she hasn't done this in a while, hopefully she won't bite me. But sometimes when I used to love to take her outside and sit on my swing outside with her, and she finally got angry. Oh, Susan Smith, I was going to get ready and tell. Susan's been very fatigued and under the weather, so we're just going to be very, very gentle with our Susan Smith. But, oh, my gosh, it's so good to see her. Oh, wow. So, anyway, but, yeah, Nadine had asked me about Kiwi a couple weeks ago, so I was like, ooh, I've got to bring her down. Can you say hi? How about uppy downy, good girl. Oh, she's so proud of herself. She's so proud of herself. I know you're very proud. All right, so now, and I've got some good pictures to show y'all this week. But I have been starting to do the big cleanup around this room because it got out of control with all the Christmas activities. And I mean, I was so busy doing so many Christmas crafts and the room was a wreck. So I'm trying very hard to clean things up. Oh, I know what I want to show you. Before I get to the painting, which is my new most fun. I'm sorry, Kiwi. I'm kind of whipping this stuff around your little tiny head. All right. I told you that I want to do the Alex Anderson hand embroidery quilt along. And so she was working beautifully. I mean, I would have loved her quilt kits for the embroidery so long. Went so fast. Michelle Lang, is she here? Hi, Michelle. Mwah. Hi, sweetheart. Oh my gosh, Carol is here. I haven't been paying attention. Oh, I know. You like to chew on my glasses string. Oh gosh, so many people are here. I apologize. I hadn't noticed all of you. So hi, and hi, Miss Carol. All right. So Alex Anderson, who I enjoy her weekly, twice a week, 3 times a week shows. Love them. And and on New Year's Eve, watched Mary Fonz, the daughter, watched her until 2 in the morning. No, actually it was later. It was almost 3. But finally I said, I got to get some sleep. But she was so much fun. So check her out. I think she's the nerd quilter, the quilting nerd. But just check for Mary Fonz. But anyway, I try to watch Alex Anderson. And I thought I would like to do this hand embroidery sampler they're doing. And so it's mostly done for everybody but me because I'm running late getting to it. But they were working on silk dupioni. Well, I'd love to work on silk dupioni, but the cheapest I could find it was $19 a yard. So, and her kit, which they sold out of so fast, were $79. So here, this is polyester dupioni. And you know what? That's good enough for me. It was only $4.99 a yard at Fabric Wholesale. And so I'm happy. Anyway, so I got, there weren't an overwhelming amount of colors left after Christmas. And at that price, they sell out fast. So I got white. I got silver. I got navy and turquoise. And as an accent color, I got a sunset apricot. And so I'm not sure what I'm going to think exactly of all these colors, but it was the best group I could put together. And where did you go? She's on the chair now. So, okay. Now, then I spent one evening until the middle of the night. I spent a good number of hours working on ideas for how I'm going to put something together. This may end up being a little bit busy, but this was kind of what I was thinking of because I have an idea. I saw one person do it, and I had thought of it even before that. But I'm thinking of taking the colors of the fabric and cutting circles, the size I'm going to do circular hand embroidery. And so if the background is busy, that's okay because I'll have different color circles that will then I'll embroider on the circles already in the stuff. So we'll see. This may be a bit ambitious, but that's what you do when you're waiting for the fabric to come in. So anyway, but I will be working on that. Jody, I think you're doing it, and it's really pretty. In fact, I wish I had gotten to Jody earlier and said, Jody, send us some new pictures. But please, everyone, send me photos of your work. It doesn't have to be of your current, something you've done in the last few years that you'd like to share with us. Your favorite thing, But I had to go through it and call old photos from our show and tell. So I'd love new photos of your work, of your weather, whatever you'd like to share with us, okay? And Susan did tell you that she's had COVID. I wasn't going to tell you she had COVID. I was going to let her But, oh, I'm so glad she let me know. I had no idea. So, oh, and just to tell you, too, just to tell you, you're just starting on the Alex Anderson also, or let me see. So I was just going to tell you too that oh, this is what happens. I got looking at I love all the chatting. So every once in a while I go, oh, I forgot what I was going to say, but okay, let's go to the Thursday night art quilt project. I am loving it. Loving it. Okay. So what I did, let me show you first what I got to do all of this. All right. I bought a new bottle of textile medium. I couldn't get the kind that Lisa Capon recommended because I would have to go to the store to get it, and because of COVID, I'm not shopping anywhere. All right. Then for Christmas, Santa Claus, gotta love Santa, brought me this box of acrylic metallic paints. Now, these of them on their own are not fabric paints, but all you have to do is take acrylic paint and add fabric medium to them, and then it becomes fabric paint. So that's easy and inexpensive. So I got those off of Amazon, and let me see. I've got a bunch. The colors are just pure eye candy. They are magnificent. And look at this. I mean, this is so exciting. Whoops. Are you there, Kiwi? Come here. She's on the back of my chair. I don't know if, no, I can't get her in the camera range. So what I did, oh, and let me write this down for you, is I found free patterns. Sure, you can see the paints again. I found free patterns at Gentleman Crafter, I think it is. Hi, Diane57. Gentleman Crafter. These paints, they're by Shuttle Art. They're on Amazon, and they come with paint, the full box of paint, 20 colors, a little tiny little paint palette, and some brushes, okay? So that comes from Amazon, okay? All right. Now, and I wanted them metallic. I've got lots of acrylic paints that I saved up, but this time I wanted metallic because I saw Miss Betty Middleton using metallic and I loved it. Oh, good, Cheryl. I got permission. I wrote to George. He's from England. What a gracious gentleman. Thus the name of his site. And I asked him, I said, we're going to be doing some fabric painting. And I saw your mandalas and thought, oh my gosh, I couldn't draw them as pretty as he did. So he was giving them out free on his site, on his, I think he calls them Monday mandalas or Mandala Mondays. And I said, is it possible if we use your mandalas free on our site? And he said, sure. So one thing I'd like to ask you, please, who the crafting guy is, a Gentleman Crafter. And so just look him up. He should pop right up. And if you go to Thursday night's live stream, I show you exactly how to get to a site and to download the mandalas. And so, and I even try to show you how to enlarge it a little bit from home. So I picked this design. And then what I did is using a light box, and you have to either have prepared for dyeing fabric, PFD, or you have to well wash a piece of fabric, then dry it. Then don't starch on the front of it because you need to get off any finish so that the fabric will accept the paint. So then I took and I used a black marker to draw the design on, and then, which makes it harder to do the quilting because then you have to stay on the line. You might want to use a pencil, do the best you can, then color it again with a black marker. But I wanted a definite line of the mandala. And I quilted, you can see where I quilted the outline before I painted. And you might think, oh, well, that's too much work to do. I just want to paint. But it makes a big difference. It keeps the paints in their place, and it gives them, you don't have to stitch through paint. Kiwi, say hi. You good girl. Yes, a good girl. And so anyway, this has all been quilted. Let me show you close up. You can see it in the back, which the back of my quilting is not pretty. I haven't even taken the time to clean it up, okay? But it's the front that I care about. So let me bring you over here and show you. You hurt your knees? Oh, I'm so sorry, hon. All right, here we go. All right. Now I have my little paint, and let me warn you, don't mix so much paint at one time because I made more orange than I could ever use, and it just goes to waste. So I shake my paint medium and put a little bit in each of these. And this paint, I'm not going to be painting that much right now. So, and then shake your paints, especially if they're metallic. Get them well thoroughly mixed. Oh, thank you, Miss Vicky. You're so sweet. And, oops, I forgot to take these off. Kiwi, I'm going to put you back on your stand. Here. No, do not bite. Ouch. Do not bite me. Get over. Get on your stand. Come on. You're being a rude girl. She tried to bite me. She did not want Mama putting her away. Okay, now, just remember, parrots have a mind of their own and a beak to back them up. All right. Well, I'm just going to have to do it this way. I hate to do it this way because I like to keep the lid intact if I can, but that doesn't always work out. Let me get... Do you see why I end up covered with all kinds of colors every time I do a live stream? All right. I don't need to open it that much. Squeeze a little bit of this out onto the palette. Okay. And do the same for this one. I don't know if I've opened this one yet either. Nope. So I'm not even going to bother to try to... These things, I wish they had a little tab on them that you could pull the tab and open it, but they don't. So now I'm going to try to squeeze some of this out. There we go. Little touch more. Okay. All right. So now, then I will... what I'm going to paint is I'm going to paint this centerpiece right here. Whoops, let me try to zoom in a little. And if any of you like painting or paint by number, you will love this. I'm having such fun. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to mask this edge of it so that I don't take a chance on... I'm going to mask this edge right here. And that way I can go back and forth. And, okay. Then I'm going to take, what size paintbrush do I want for this? And I'm going to go ahead and try this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix in the medium, the textile medium, fabric medium, and with the paint. And then you want to keep your brush nice and flat, and then just dip the tip in. And see, I'm glad I put this paper here. You see what happened? So it wouldn't matter if you spill a little paint on here. In fact, I'll show you a couple places where my purple paint, I went out of line. That's not a problem because I will cover it with the next color. But if I get it out here, if I get it out in the margins, that would be really tough to deal with. So, all right. So now I'm going to take and just come in here. This brush may be a little thick. I'll do the laying down of the color right there. But, okay. Let me see. Hold on. I'm trying to get a better angle. So what I'm going to do is every other one gets painted this color. I'm just going to lay the paint down in bulk with this one, then get a finer brush. The paint is rather thick, so remember that when you're choosing your brush. Choose a thinner, narrower brush, and you'll be happier with it. So every other, because these leaves are divided into two, so I chose to do one side of the leaf one color, one side the other color. And I'm going to get ready and show you. Remember I told you could go to paint? Well, Mark said, oh, honey, if you use the little bucket that looks like it's pouring, that's the fill thing, the fill button. And all you have to do then is choose your color, click on that bucket icon, and it'll fill the whole space. And I went, really? Okay, that's cool. So I'll show you. Okay, let me put that in water. I put my brushes in water right away. Okay, let me back out. And I keep my little thing of water because acrylic paints dry out fast. Oh, put a fur underneath. I don't know about that. So now, all right. So what I will do now is get a very, very fine paintbrush. Come dip it in that light teal. And then come and fill in. Since the paint is so thick, you don't have to worry about it soaking in and running. But just work up to the line carefully. You don't want to start at the line. With a crayon, I always started at the outline. But with paint, you want to start in the middle and then work towards the line, because that way you'll have less chance of it soaking into the surrounding area. All right, so let me just finish this other one. Then we'll move to the other paint, and I will finish these paints this evening. And just keep your paints covered with plastic or put them in an airtight container, because they will dry out pretty fast. Sometimes when you cover them, they'll still get a little skin on them, but just poke through the skin with your brush, and then there's good paint underneath. All right, now, I had something where the other day I would accidentally get paint on the black stitching. If you take the end of your paintbrush and just run it along that sewing, it will lift that paint off. Then rub it off on your hand, non-toxic, and you'll have you don't want to cover up your thread. Even though at the end of this, I've got some special markers that I'm going to use. And these are better than Sharpies because they tend not to run, but I've got their like a paint tip, felt tip, and I'll be able to come back in and outline, make all my outlines again, because I do want it to look very sharp. All right, so now really quickly, let me mix up my other color. I'm not going to finish this. I will come back to it later, but I'm mixing the medium with the darker teal. Now, if you don't like some of these colors, and after I paint them, I might look and say, I think I'll mix it differently, then I can always do that. I can mix a couple of these colors together and come back and let me zoom in again. What's a good question? Can you use stencil paint? Yeah, anything you can mix with a fabric medium, that's super. Now, if you're not going to wash this or use it, you could probably just put the paint directly on, but just know if you don't use a medium, it usually just sits on the top and you can almost peel it off. So that's why a fabric medium is really important. Now with ink tints, you can use just a gel, but here it's really best to get an actual liquid fabric medium. But do you see how much fun this is? So once you pick out your mandala, then you can look at Thursday night's live stream. I show how to enlarge it. And then you get your well-washed or prepared for dyeing fabric. You draw the design on using a window or a light board. And then you have to do the quilting. I know that, that's not the fun part. You want to hurry up and get to the painting part, but do it in the right order. It makes everything so much easier. And the quilting keeps the paint into place and also helps prevent it from running. And then I'm going to show you as soon as I paint this one little section, I'm going to show you the color combination I worked up on paint. I highly recommend that unless you're comfortable just going willy-nilly, because before you get ready to invest in painting it, it's good to have an idea of what colors you want and where. Okay. There we go. And then I let this sit a while. Sometimes I'll check the edges and make sure there aren't any edges missing. There's a question. Yes, and what you do then, excellent question. Yeah, with ink tints, aloe gel works well. With acrylics, you really have to have a medium. Let's say you're on a budget. You can go to Michael's and get the medium for $2.50 for a 2-ounce bottle, and that'll do tons. Now, yes, you do have to heat set. You let this dry perfectly. Let it fully dry. Then you use a piece of scrap fabric to lay on top, and then you iron it. You just sit down the iron and heat set. Then it will be, that was a beautiful question. Thank you. And so that way then it's heat set. Okay? So I've got these beautiful paints mixed up. I don't know if you can tell the glow from the metallics. Whoops, which way am I going? But it's so pretty. And I'm having lots of fun doing that. But, okay. I just spilled a little bit of paint way up here. Luckily, though, I'll cut it off before then. But I might come back and curl under and pin these edges to protect them because, or, you know what? I could put packing tape on the fabric all around the edge and the packing tape would protect it till I take it off. I think that's my best plan. So I will be covering all around here, all this part with packing tape, because I don't know what I'm going to do with that. All right, I'm going to move this out of the way, but isn't that pretty and fun? How easy. Thank you, Miss Betty Middleton and Lisa Capon, for giving me the idea to do those. All right, now, okay, stand this back up. Come on. All right. There we go. All right. The blue tape. You know what? That's a great idea. Blue tape would work. Anything that I can get to stick long enough to keep, because I was thinking about that yesterday. I said, it is very hard to get acrylic out of fabric the moment it dries. And then even when it's not fully dry, it is just hard to get it out of the weave. So, okay. Here is a different mandala from the gentleman's site. I mean, they're just, oh, and just for people, really do watch Thursday nights to get the hints. But if you print out enough copies, when you make it big, then you can cut and paste, because a mandala is a equal, it's a round, it means circle of life. It's a common theme through all different kinds of ethnicities and countries. And it's circular and even, so you can print and cut and paste and work out the whole circle. Then I took my design, and I had it larger than this, but I went to paint. And in paint, oh, thank you. And in paint, I ended up working out this coloring. Now, I will tell you that while in paint, and I would click to do the autofill, the little bucket that looks like it's pouring, it did a funny thing around the edge because it didn't recognize his edges as hard edges. It recognized them as uneven. But that's fine, because it gave me a chance to work out some colors. And I'm still not sure about the outer edge, but so far I'm really happy with this. And it gives me then something when I'm sitting down painting, gives me a little key to go on. So I hope you'll come on Thursday nights and give this a try and pick your own design. You can, I mean, it's so simple when you think about it, because let's say there's a coloring book that you love. Use that page. The one thing to keep in mind, everywhere there's a line, you have to have a quilted stitching. So don't get it too busy, because then you'll spend all your time quilting it. So I'm hoping that gave you, I'm just so happy with it. I thought, I don't want to wait till Thursday. I want to give them a little enticement. So, but we're going to be working on that every Thursday. In fact, I need to think about what we need to work on for our Sunday project, but we will definitely get to that. All right. It is now time for show and tell. Okay. Let's go see what you've been doing. Yay. And don't forget, if you would like to have me showcase your work, any pictures, your weather, whatever you would enjoy sharing, just send me an email to OurTimeToQuilt at twc.com. I think masking tape would work very well. I don't have my glasses on. Oh, I did want to tell y'all that Bonnie has found that she has an eye infection, and she is on drops and steroids, and hopefully is soon going to be on the mend, because we miss our Bonnie. We do. We do. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Susan. So, all right, let's go to your photos. All right. Turn the camera around. Whoops. Okay. this back down. All right. Woo. I was thinking of Diana Wright the other day. Yesterday, I watched Red River with John Wayne in it and thought of our Diana. Okay, here we go. Let's pick up our folder. And come on. All right. Here's our folder. All right. The first person I've got, I did not know that Miss Alexis had put these photos up. So I'm so sorry that I didn't. Let me try to get this tilted a little more. Okay. I am so very sorry that I did not get her pictures off our site. I went looking for them last night. Okay, here's her first one. Here is one of her wonderful hand embroideries. She loves everything to do with Transformers. And you know how we feel about that. Whatever makes you happy and keeps you creative is very worthwhile. So very good. Way to go. Okay. Then. Okay. Then she has this wonderful case full of all these wonderful, I don't know if they're Linux or what, but they're wonderful china houses, like a Christmas decoration. They're beautiful. She must have gotten these from her grandmother. She's got every one plus the case. That's lovely. Okay. Here is a close-up of one of her embroideries. Her stitches are beautiful. I love the beading. But look at how close and tight all of her stitches are. Beautiful, beautiful job. All right. Now this one. Yeah, there's the close-up of that one where the beads were. But she just does beautiful, beautiful work. I hope she will continue doing that stitching. Here's a close-up of one of those little houses. How cute is that? So I'm glad that she realizes they're very special and to hold on to those. They look like maybe they'd be spice boxes. They are a treasure either way. And then there we go again. So just wonderful. Thank you, Miss Alexis. I'm sorry I didn't see them. Wish I had seen them sooner. So I hope she'll watch this and realize we love her work. Oops, nope, this is the Art Quilt Thursday. I already covered that, so let me go back. The next person is Miss Betty, who did this wonderful landscape. We love this. Love her work. Whoops, let me bring it in. Isn't that lovely? We'll have to ask her how she did it. Is it painted? Is it fabric? Is it stitching? Because that's beautiful. All right, let's see who's next. I left up some things from Carol's, and especially since I'm getting ready to do the Alex Anderson hand embroidery, I would love, love, love to be able to look at her work, Miss Carol's work, and get some ideas of clever stitching. And also, I was thinking, it might be a good thing for us to look into making our own journal done in scroll. It might be fun. So we'll talk about it. We'll look at it and see. Okay, okay. Look at this. Isn't that wonderful? And it looks like she did the month and anything that happened in that time or the weather. I just saw something for the first time. I don't know if y'all have heard about it, but doing a weather quilt. And evidently you have certain fabrics, and one can mean the temperature in so many degrees. Some the background of something equals whether it's sunny or rainy. I don't know. I'm not sure it's something I'm really ready to do, because you've got to record every single day's weather, and you've got to have quite a few fabrics chosen first. And also, you have to do the dreaded Deb hexagon. I would have to get over my fear of the hexagon, but I always am looking for ideas of things to do. Since we were going to be mentioning Alex Anderson, I wanted to show Charlene Lawson's beautiful, beautiful Alex Anderson quilt along. I wonder if she's going to do the quilt show quilt along they're getting ready for. I got some pictures to show you. So these came from our Jamie's Crafty World. And here is her beautiful house in Washington State. And look at all of their snow. Isn't that beautiful? And look what Miss Crystal did all by herself. Sewing, handling the sewing machine all by herself, not sitting on somebody's lap. She made her own quilt. Isn't that beautiful? Yay, Crystal, you did wonderful. And she made it for her grandma, and it's all kinds of kitties. Isn't that great? I think she's a very talented young lady, and I can't wait to see what she does next. Yay, Crystal. And then here, Crystal has a wonderful snowman that she's giving a very big hug to. Isn't that the cutest? Oh, love that girl. So glad to see her and her mom. And then this is so absolutely beautiful. And you can picture the quiet desolation of a heavy snowfall. Isn't that amazing? I love that photo. Love, love, love it. Fantastic. Okay, let's see who's next. Thank you, Miss Jamie, for sending us those. Okay, we'll do Debbie Holtz. I couldn't bear to delete these because she is, I think, the first person. Well, Jody finished her Christmas block of the week table runner, and I need to get a picture of that. I know I've seen it, so I forgot to save it. But here is Debbie Holt's wonderful Christmas block of the week finished. And then she also did one of our swirl tree quilts, and I love it. That's fantastic. Great job. All right, let's see who is next. Kathy Boyd. I think I still... Oh, got some new photos from Miss Kathy Boyd. It looks like she made a fabric rug for a son, maybe? And I love her busy Christmas house, all warm and family-like. Love it. Then here is another beautiful quilt she did. Don't you love batiks, everybody? Batiks are wonderful. And then look at this heart quilt. That is so cute. Good table runner. Thank you, Miss Kathy Boyd, for sending those. Love especially the Christmas one with family. All right, Miss Mary, I kept her latest, which is so wonderful. She did that for Art Quilt Thursday, where she did a wonderful, amazing background. Every time I look at this, I find new things, like this wonderful willow tree. Look at these pines, the sun and the rays, and the sailboats and the reflection and shadows. Love it, Miss Mary. All right, now let's see. We are going to Miss Melanie. She sent us a couple new ones. This is her beautiful tree and fireplace. I love these tall, stately Nutcracker standing guard. Her stockings are amazing. I bet you anything she made those. So it's just beautiful. Tree, everything. Looks cozy and warm, doesn't it? Then, whoops, I did save one. Whoops, I thought I had it. Let's see. She had gone to Meyer's garden. Whoops, no, it must be from the old. Let me turn this one. I want you to look at the talent in the Christmas cookie decoration. Look at these snowmen. Then look at the beautiful snowflakes. Look at this. She did that where you draw, you put the icing on and you draw it through, creating beautiful designs. Look at this stocking down here. Then another one where she dragged the toothpick through. Look at this cutie pie snowman. Isn't that wonderful? Thank you for sharing those. They're just lovely. I said, that is a lot of talent. And in here are her pups, and they must be on one of the Christmas displays. That is sweet. So, and then, I couldn't bear to get rid of this. It is just such a lovely, let me turn around one more time, a lovely table runner. Isn't that beautiful? Thank you, Miss Melanie, for those wonderful photos. Nadine sent me new ones. They had on the 6th of January, it's time in Germany, it's tradition to take down all of your decorations and put them up with redecorate. Get rid of the old Christmas ones and redecorate. So her house is always so warm and charming. Then I kept the photos of her gardens in the snow. So beautiful. And I love how she left the roses, because now you have something pretty to look at in winter too. Look at that. Looks like a sugar-encrusted rose. Isn't that beautiful? So here is her snow. There's her little birdhouse full of chock-a-block food. Look at that. Isn't that sweet? All right. Now, I thought there were more. Let me see. That might have been... Okay. So, did we see? I don't think we saw these two. So, let me come and bring this down. Do you remember her making this? This is an Edita sitar that she made last year, maybe? Beautiful. Her quilting is extraordinary. And now, here's the next one. Oh, look at this beautiful little vignette. And I love this about our Nadine, is she decorates with such feeling and creates a beautiful mood in her home. Isn't that beautiful? She loves all kinds of salt glazed stoneware too. All right. Thank you, Miss Nadine, for those wonderful photos. We love seeing them. Then Miss Patricia said this is the last view of her cross stitch for this year. She's put it away because she's got other things lined up. But she got a lot done. Everywhere you can see color and design, that's been stitched. Wonderful. All right, now let's see. Miss Polly, I kept her photos of her most latest experimental work. I think it's amazing. I love all of the threads to make the bushes, the burlap to make the stone wall, all of her beading. Beautiful work. Look at that. Cheesecloth for clouds. I love that kind of ingenuity. I mean, look at her stitching. Look at the eyelash yarn down at the bottom for the grass. Way to go, Miss Polly. Isn't that just wonderful? And she's just taking little bits of stuff and turning it into a work of art. Beautiful. The color choices for her leaves in the beads is beautiful. So thank you, Miss Polly. All right, let's see. I think that's it for this week, except for me. Let's see. I don't know how much I have in my today folder. So let me see. Oh, I do have a few things. Okay. We were surprised. Polly said last Sunday, she asked me, have you heard that we're going to get snow? And I thought, oh, no way. It had been 75 degrees a day or two before. So we got snow all right. We ended up getting about 2 inches, which for us here in North Carolina, that's a lot of snow. And we were so happy to get it. It just was beautiful. Just beautiful. I thank Mark for taking all these photos. Look at that. Oh, that is dreamy. I hope it happens again because that is just so lovely. All right. Oh, another snow. This is on my back deck. I love that. I love the feeling when it snows, you feel cut off from the world and you're in your own little magic land. I love that. All right. So now let me go see if I can find the pictures of my grandson, because that's more important than a little snow. Oh, this was the final swirly tree quilt I made for my daughter who loves blue. Okay. Oh, my grandsons, when they were feeling a little under the weather. And there's sweet Russell playing with, I think, his grandpa's Batman. My daughter on Christmas Day with one of her ewes. I think that's the cutest picture. That's my daughter, Katie. That's the mother of the young Marine I'm going to show you pictures from. So let me, hold on one second. Let's see. Okay. And that same daughter had to drive down 95. Luckily, they had cleaned off most of the roads. Okay, just give me just a moment, please, to download these. And I wanted to tell you, I bought a Juki, back in November because I didn't have a sewing machine. Mine had been in the shop for months, and I didn't have a sewing machine to take to the retreat. I love that Juki. Oh, let me tell you, it has the foot pedal that when you stop sewing, it raises just enough. And so what I did, cancel this, what I would do is put the needle down button, and when that foot pedal would raise up a little bit, I could turn and keep sewing. It made it so much easier. And instead of, what is this doing? Hold on one second. I'm going to just, it's giving me a little bit of trouble. I'm sorry I forgot to do this, but let me, okay. Driving me nuts. It's not wanting to work. Okay, here we go. All right, now I'm just trying to grab a couple of these photos because they are so special. Okay. They're so cute. So my grandson, something he's wanted to do was to go in the military. And so he wanted to, and he got accepted into the Marines. And it's like a little scary, to think about, but we're so proud of them. Okay. I'm sorry this is taking just a little bit of time, so I'm hoping that you're chatting and enjoying yourself. And I'm so proud of him as an honor grad. So, so proud. Okay. Let me check one more thing. Here we go. I'm going to show you these directly from my phone because it's easier that way. Okay? So, here we go. There is my Devin, my grandson, who's now a Marine private first class. And is that my favorite uniform ever? Marine dress blues are just the best. And I had my mask, but Mark said, take that mask off so you can take a good picture with that grandson. I am so proud of him. And there he is when we were coming over to bring the dogs to them at my daughter's house, my other daughter's house. He wanted to be in his Marine dress blues. Isn't that beautiful? And the shoes had a shine you wouldn't believe. Here is the two dogs that belong to my daughter who I went to get. And they settled in so well. They really did. Here is me sewing on that mandala. And there's her old dog, Scooter. I'm not sure what pictures I'm getting now. Oh, boy. Okay, I think that's enough of that part. So now I'll go back to here. And this is so cute. So my daughter sent this picture. They're coming home after all the ceremonies. And here's her big bad Marine, totally asleep. He's so glad to be off duty and relaxing. And I just think that is the sweetest, sweetest picture. And here's another one. He was so worn out. He has had the worst couple months, let me tell you. And then, this one's sweet too. They took his girlfriend down with them to get him. And look at that. Isn't that the sweetest picture? Oh, what a dear heart. And this is just a beautiful shot she made of him. Isn't that gorgeous? And then, whoops, no, don't want any more snow. Here my son-in-law, his father, my daughter, and there's Devin. And in fact, there's another one, I believe. No, not my snow. Here we go. And it says honor graduate, Paris Island, South Carolina. And there he is. In fact, is this the Secretary of the Navy? I forget right now, but I'll have to check. They had some cool people there. Isn't that wonderful? I'm so proud of him. All right. That's it for me now. Thank you for being so patient while I downloaded those photos. I think we got everything. Yay. All right. Let me come back to our show. And whoops, come on. Sometimes I get frustrated with this camera. But then I remember how inexpensive it was, and then I like it again. Let me come back to y'all, see what y'all are doing. Okay. So, everybody. Oh, yes. Thank you for asking that excellent question. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, your father. Oh, that's wonderful, Debbie. That's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. I'm so proud of him. I really am. I did make my stitches much smaller. And I'm going to tell you another thing too, which is that to get smooth stitches while you're trying to follow all of that, make them smaller, and put your foot down on the pedal a little harder, but still stay in control of the fabric, kind of holding it back just a little bit. It'll give you more control over where you stitch. You would think you should sew slower, but slower can make the stitches get wonky. If you go to turn, you get a wonky stitch. So just kind of hold back on the fabric, but put your foot down a little hard. Get it going a little faster. Okay. And I know a guy in uniform, it just commands respect. And he's such a sweetheart. There's Kim Hicks. Oh, wonderful. And Mary's here? Wow. Let me see. Oh, yes. I was supposed to talk. Yesterday was the second Saturday, wasn't it? Okay. Got to work on this. I'm not, Miss Susan and Miss Bonnie are the queens of that. I tell you what, why don't we aim then? Susan, I don't know if y'all did one. If you didn't do one yesterday, can we aim for Saturday the 15th and Saturday the 22nd to do our Jitsi? And if you are a member of our group on our Groups IO, we put up the shortcut for you to come join us, and we would love that. So let me see. What do you think, Susan? Did y'all have one yesterday? I couldn't be more proud of that boy. You teach a stitch along for your journal scroll. Oh, wow. Can we join it? Oh, that sounds fun. You were told put your left foot. Oh, that's neat. Well, Susan, I don't want to overwhelm you. I really don't. But I tell you what, everybody was asking how you and Bonnie were, and they were saying they really missed the Jitsis. So I was like, well, until they are getting well enough, I could try them. And of course, I forgot yesterday. It's been a busy week. But anyway, I know y'all are busy too. So if you didn't, then for this month only, can we do so there are 5 Saturdays in this week. So if we do the 15th and 22nd, that'll be the 3rd and 4th. So we could join you, Carol. Oh, let us know. Shoot me the details or put them at our group site. Oh my God. Oh, look at this. Oh, Carol, that would be so much fun, especially since I'm thinking of us. Hey, let's work on a journal scroll. That would be fun. Oh, thank you, Susan. Thank you, sweetheart. Oh, that would be a lot of fun to watch Miss Carol because she's very talented, as you saw in the photos. It must have been karma that I left those photos up so you can actually see what she's teaching, because you don't know. I have thought before. Oh, now, Kiwi, what are you doing down there? Come here. Step up. Step up. Come on. Step up. I felt a breeze go by my foot, and Kiwi flew down and landed right beside Gromit, and then thought, oh no, I'm not supposed to do that. But Gromit's so good, he wouldn't. Yes, and it's really neat. And if you have any of these, I saw in a magazine that some people took these antique bobbins and wrapped the scroll around that. I thought, oh, what a cool idea. Oh, gosh. Okay. So now everybody, please copy Carol's address. She does this on Saturdays. Oh, I've got to check this. This is wonderful. Okay. This is exciting to have something new. Yesterday was the beginning of the how-to. Oh, this is going to be fun. I would love that. Do the videos stay up after you've done the actual how-to? She does hers between 9 and 11. Oh, maybe we can do our Jitsi from 11 to 2. Look at me just jumping in with both feet. Oh, yay. Yeah, definitely subscribe. I know how much work it takes to put on one of these. So always give them a thumbs up, subscribe, give them that attention and appreciation because it's wonderful. Yeah, what time zone, Carol? Because I've kind of forgotten now, too. Oh, you'll get homework. Okay, we'll take homework. Eastern? Okay, same time. Eastern is me. All right, so that's what we'll have to do then. Well, it is wonderful to see all of you today. I think I ran out of things to talk about. I think mainly because I ran out of steam. But how wonderful that all of you came to join us. And Miss Susan was back. And Diane 57 to keep me straight. That was wonderful. And yeah, Kiwi thinks so too. Oh, I know, Kiwi. So, oh, that's a good idea. 12 to 4. And then that way people, that's great, Susan. All right. So, oh, you love my birdie. She's a mess. Let me tell you, earlier when you heard me telling her to step up, she bit me very hard. So she can be a mess. And now that she's mature and has her own opinions of everything. So don't bite me. All right, everybody. It was wonderful to see you. I know I'm probably going to be saying goodbye a little bit early, but it has been a long week. I was on the road 6 hours on Wednesday, and then we were gone. We took the dogs down to my other daughter's. We were gone an hour and a half then, and there's been a lot to do. So I hope you understand that I'm going to go get snugly on my recliner, and I'm going to paint some more on this mandala. So I do hope you'll try it. And don't forget, all of the instructions are on Thursday night's live stream. Okay? Take good care of yourself. It was so wonderful. Now, don't do that. Don't do that. She's liable to get into trouble very soon. This is why I don't have her on as much as I used to, because she can be a pistol. Now she's mad at me again, and she's going to bite my hair. Kiwi, stop it. I better go, because she is becoming a mess. All right, y'all take care. Have a great week. Take good care of yourself, okay? And do something fun just for you. Bye-bye, everybody. You are the best. Bye-bye. Kiwi, can you do uppy downy? Do uppy downy, uppy downy. Good girl.